Good morning, friends. Today I will discuss on topic errors in measurement. Under these topics, I need to cover three important parameters. The first parameter is definitions of the measurement, reasons for the errors, and the third one is classifications of the errors. So the first and the foremost thing is that we need to focus on why these errors or occurs in the measurements and the methodology. So why these occurs, I need to discuss on these points. So the first I'll move with the definition. Error may be defined as the difference between the true value and the measured value. So hence we can write mathematically that is true value minus measured value. The difference between these two will get the error. If it is error, always will be expressed in terms of the percentage. And the some authors they have defined in the different ways. Errors a mistake or inaccuracy in action, right? Or the deviations from these standards. So keeping in these things, the error definition commonly it can be defined as error may be defined as the difference between the true value and the measured value. Now the second point is that why these errors are happens. What's the reasons for this? See, usually we know that the mechanical devices usually comprises of levers, gears, and springs, and other things we are going to use that. So due to this, there is always be a deflection, always be aware of gauges, always be vibrations, and apart from this, also we are impact the is that the atmospheric conditions like the temperature, pressure, humidity, and other magnetic fields. So we should kept the instruments for a constant room temperature. So therefore we are keeping always the meteorological labs on under the dust proof room. That is nothing but the AC rooms. Okay. So these are the reasons for that. So due to this, the practical should be done in the dust proof room. Next comes that classifications of the errors. Then what are the errors and how it can be classified? Okay, so suppose this question can be asked in the main exams that 8 to 10 marks. You need to define error first, and next you need to say that the types of the errors, or use a block diagram or in your just to explain very simple manner. Okay, types of errors in measurements. So it is broadly classified in three types. One is the gross error, another one is the measurement error, and third one is blunders. So again, measurement errors are again once again classified into two types. One is systematic error, another one is the random error. The systematic error, again, to understand the better way, so again it is divided into four classifications: instrumental errors, environmental errors, and observational errors, and the theoretical errors. So now we'll discuss one by one. Okay. First, I'll go with the gross error. What is gross error? Gross errors are caused by the mistake of using instruments or meters, calculating the measurements and recording the data results. If you take an example of the gross error, so an operator, a person, while taking a reading on the pressure gauge. So here what happens if you note down the pressure in the compressor in the tank 1.01 Newton per meter square. This is my reading. Okay, the person or operator he has take that is 1.10 Newton per meter square. See here that the number you are going to write, this is the wrong. So this is the wrong. So this type of the errors are called as the gross error. So these gross error only for the reusing some of the mistakes will be happens using the instruments. Okay. Next, I will move to the blunders. Blunders are final source of errors, and these errors are caused by faulty readings or due to the wrong value recording a measurement or a misreading a scale. Okay. This is known as the blunders. Next, measurement errors are broadly classified in two types. One is a systematic error, another is the random error. Systematic errors that occurs due to the fault in the measuring devices are known as the systematic error. Usually they are called as zero errors. These errors may be classified into four categories in order to understand the concept of systematic errors. Let us classify error as instrumental error, environmental error, and observational error, and the theoretical error. Let us understand in these words in very clearly. Instrument errors. Okay, so we know that instrumental errors means to avoid this we are going to do the frequently we are going to do the calibrations. Once we have done the periodical calibration, then instrument are giving the accurate readings. So therefore instrumental errors occurs due to the wrong construction of the measuring instruments. These errors may occur due to the hysteresis or friction. These type of errors include loading effect and the misuse of the instruments. In order to reduce the gross error in measurement, different correction factors must be applied, and in the extreme condition, instrument must be recalibrated carefully. That is what in the instrumental error we must calibrate the instrument for a periodical time. Then we get the correct reading. So next comes that environmental error. Environmental error, you know that the environmental factors like temperature, humidity, pressure, and the magnetic field. So these are that is going to be a, a great or small errors, because if the extreme temperature, again the reading will be takes changes the reading. Extreme cold also the reading will be the slight the deviations from the readings. So therefore, in order to avoid these things, we are keeping the metrological instrument and the lab itself as the dust proof room to get accurate reading. This is what an environmental error. Next comes that an observational errors. Observational errors, these errors which are done by the these errors are done by the operators. See, for example, I can take this is an example. See, this is what my component, this is surface table, this is what a scale I need to measure the height of this component. Okay, see this, you cannot say at the height of this. Okay, you cannot say at low this, exactly seen with this line. Okay, this is what correct. So therefore this error, observation error, is nothing but the parallax error. Is the name suggests that these type of the errors occurs due to the wrong observations or reading in the instruments, particularly in case of energy meter reading. So the wrong observation made due to the parallaxes. In order to reduce the parallax errors, highly accurate meter and needed. Meters provided with the mirror scales. Okay, this is what generally for this parallax error is nothing but an observational errors. Next come theoretical errors. These theoretical errors are caused by simplifications of model system. Uh, a theory states that the temperature of the system surrounding will not change. The readings taken when it actually does, then this factor will begin a source of errors for the measurement. Okay, last again I can once again go to the random errors. These random errors are caused by the sudden change in the experimental condition and noisy and the tiredness in the working persons. If sudden there is a fluctuations of current and the fluctuations of the any voltage, so then obviously there is a small deviations from the standard readings. These errors are either positive or negative. The example for this is that a random errors is during changes in humidity, unexpected change in the temperature, and fluctuations in the voltage. Okay. These errors may be reduced by taking an average of large number of the readings. So thus these are the theoretical errors. So once again, this every time there is a question on this measurements, define measurement and give the classification for this. It can be asked for 8 to 10 marks. So you just give the answer in the general manner, right? Okay. So thus once again I can say that errors are difference between the true value and the measured value. But it can be mathematically we can write it as always it can be written in the say that in the percentage. Okay, right? Thank you, French.